It's time for the Jedi to end. Hello, everyone, and today I'm taking a look at Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Now, before we get into this review, I just want to say two things right off the bat. First off, I did see this movie last night. I was trying to record my video, or trying to record my review of that movie last night, but unfortunately, my voice wasn't working very well, so whenever I finished a line, I couldn't stop coughing, so yeah. And number two, I know I'm in a different room, but that's because of the fact that upstairs it's very noisy right now. So yeah, I'm down here because there's no noise and I can just film the review. So yeah, I'm sorry about the confusion. But still, let's talk about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I was worried going into this film because while I do love The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, when I rewatched The Last Jedi the other night, my score went from a 10 to a 9, so I now give this movie a 9 out of 10. I still really like it, but my score has gone down by by number, so there. And also, when I heard all about the mixed reviews for the film, I was kind of worried, but I was still excited for this movie since, besides Avengers Endgame, this was my most anticipated film of 2019, and now that I've seen the movie, I can safely say that I walked out of the theater very satisfied. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat, this is a non-spoiler review of the movie, so if you're worried about spoilers, don't be. I will do a spoiler review either tomorrow or Monday, so stay tuned for that. With that being said, let's talk about this movie. Now, I'm going to, of course, not doing any spoilers, but still, so let's talk about the plot without getting into spoilers. The plot of the movie is that it takes place after the events of The Last Jedi, where Rey, Poe, and Finn are still part of the Resistance, fighting against the First Order with Kylo Ren as the new supreme leader of the First Order, and during this time, an old evil awakes beyond the shadows of the dark side of the Force. And I'm pretty sure you know who it is, but still. Now, I just want to get off my negatives with the film first. There is one negative I do have with this movie, but it is a spoiler, so I'll say that for my spoiler review. But in terms of stuff that I can talk about that isn't spoilers, I can say that one problem I do have is that I feel like there is a lot of jokes in the movie. Now, I'm not saying the jokes are bad. There are a lot of funny jokes. But it's just that, like, you know how people complain about how Marvel always having jokes after jokes after jokes in their movies? Well, it's kind of like the same thing here, but mostly during, like, the first act of the film, where I feel like the jokes just not stop repeating. And there are times where I feel like it's kind of not in the mood for a joke. Like, there are some scenes where it doesn't feel like a joke was needed, and yeah, that's just my one problem I do have with the film, the constant joke after joke after joke. And also, the movie's original runtime was going to be 2 hours and 35 minutes long, but it was cut down to 2 hours and 22 minutes. I can kind of see that because there are some scenes where it feels like, okay, they were supposed to go on longer, but they kind of had to cut it for time. And yeah, that's most of my problems with the movie without going into spoilers. Now, in terms of my positives with the film, there is a lot of stuff I do like in this movie, but the majority of what I like is spoilers, so I'm going to save that for my spoiler review of the movie, but still. Now, in terms of stuff I liked in this movie that are non-spoilers, first off, the cast is great. Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Adam Driver are all fantastic as always. I really love the dynamic between Poe, Rey, and Finn in this movie, and and the chemistry between all three actors is great, and a lot of their humor is really funny, and it's just nice seeing them work together as a trio, and yeah, they're just really well done in my opinion. And also, the chemistry between Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver is fantastic, and I love seeing the relationship between Rey and Kylo. It's just great in my opinion. And also, I do love some of the things they did with Leia in this movie, but I'll save that for my spoiler review as well. All I will say is that since Carrie Fisher sadly passed away, they had to use some unused footage from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi in this movie. And I'm not gonna lie, there was never a point where I thought to myself, okay, yeah, that's CGI. Every time Leia was on screen, I always thought that Carrie Fisher was really there, and I really liked the stuff that they did with Leia, and I also really love the stuff they did with Kylo and Rey. Seriously, Kylo and Rey are just so good to watch on screen. And also, the trailers have said that Palpatine is in this movie, and I will talk more about Palpatine in my spoiler review of the film, but I will say this about Palpatine. Ian McDiarmid smashed it out of the ballpark. He was phenomenal as Palpatine once again, and it was really good seeing him as Palpatine one last time. And also, I really loved the stuff they did with 3PO in this movie. I thought he was really funny. In fact, he kind of reminded me a lot of K2SO from Rogue One, and there are a lot of funny jokes with him in the first act, and yeah. And I also love R2 in this movie, and BB-8 are also fun as well. And while the new characters are just fine for the most part, they're just good, but still. And also, it was good seeing Lando Calrissian back. He was great, and yeah, I really like Billy D. Williams. And also, the action in this movie is phenomenal. The lightsaber duels are great. A lot of the action is great. And I also love a lot of the ideas they do, how they expand on certain things, which I thought was really cool. And also, this movie made me feel satisfied. Like, I'm not even joking. It's not like Avengers Endgame level of satisfying, but I still felt satisfied when I walked out of the theater. And also, this movie does have a lot of emotional scenes, and rethinking of them just makes me feel all kinds of feelings, and yeah, it's really well done. And also, the special effects do look great, and yeah, there's not much to talk about without going into spoilers, so I will say that as a fan of Star Wars, I had a blast seeing this movie. I loved it, and it's not a perfect film. I would definitely give this movie a 9 out of 10. It is a 9 out of 10 movie in my opinion. If you dislike this film, that is perfectly fine, but I personally had a blast seeing it, and yeah. So overall, what did you guys think of The Rise of Skywalker? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Comment down below, and join me next time as I do my spoiler review of this movie and discuss the spoiler things, because trust me, it is very hard to talk about this movie without going into spoilers. So that being said, see you all later, and good day.